Hello, everyone. Welcome to the final Dream Star Grand Prix review. I'm your host, Scott Edwards. We're talking the finals of the Dream Star in Nagoya, and with me is two special guests, both from Stardom Quest 1. Welcome back, Dylan. How are you, my friend?
I'm all right. I mean, I have like 7 Crush Gals / Chigusa Nagayo songs stuck in my head at the exact same time, so I'm trying to like think properly right now. But I'm doing all
Nice.
right. Happy to be here.
Nice. Valid, to be fair, so that's okay. And Alex, welcome. This is the first time you joined the review series, which is now over. I don't have to do one of these for another year. This is great. But welcome.
I had to complete the assignment. I recorded with Ryan. Now I have to record with you, just to
Mm,
feel whole. You know.
Go ring post to ring
yeah.
post. Radio.
Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly.
you needed to get the ring post radio circle. I understand it. We try to offer the most. Someday maybe we'll record both of us at the same time, though I don't think
Whoa.
anyone does that. It's usually just me and Ryan. Anyways, let's get to the actual conversation here today. Dream Star Final. The tournament is now over. That means tournaments are over, which I will not be doing Tag League. I'm telling that one right now. Someone did ask me, I think it was Alex, and I was like, I'd rather not. No, I'm good. I'm good.
I don't
In
think
a
I would
joking
that on
manner,
you.
to be fair. Someone said it in a joking, oh no, it was Peps. And I was like, no.
I
Are you
would I
trying to
would
hurt
listen
me?
I would listen to a Tag League one because that would be funny.
But thanks.
I
You
I also love
probably
Tag
be
League,
the only
so
one.
Yeah,
All
you were
right.
you were
Well,
big on Tag League.
I always go
that's
into
great.
Tag League
I'm
thinking it's
not
gonna be
doing
great,
it.
and it isn't.
That's
Yes.
either way. I'm not doing it. I've already announced that I said on my podcast. I'll say it here. I think I said it last week. I'm going. My next series on this YouTube channel will be Joshi Rewind because I, like everyone else, has watched the Queen of Villains, and now I don't want to watch anything else
Yeah.
besides old Joshi. So Joshi Rewind coming up soon. I'm sure I'll have Alex and Dylan involved in that down the line as well. They probably are more interested in doing that than say other review series that I've done. So that's cool with me. But before we get to the actual review, I ask everyone to leave a like, leave a comment. What was your favorite match of the Dream Star? Who is your MVP? And how do you feel about the big final? And then, of course, subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate everyone that has. And if you don't want to miss those Joshi Rewind videos, which should be a lot of fun, then make sure you subscribe. Now, all right, let's get to the final here. Not gonna save any time. We are here for hopefully 40 minutes. If it's longer, I'm blaming Dylan. Um,
Yep.
it and Dylan can't fight that one. It's just
No.
true. My longest one of these, Dylan was on it, so
Of course.
um, it's just how it goes. But the Dream Star final happened, of course, in Nagoya on Saturday, September 28th, which is of course today if you're listening to it, but gotta get the dates in there for some reason. As you can see on the little graphic. I like this little graphic, by the way. I like just putting everyone on and just be like, figure out the final yourself. Um and I was wrong on the final, as everyone knows, because Marai didn't
We were
even
all wrong.
make it.
Yeah, I
Marai
don't
didn't even
think
make it
anyone
into
was right.
contention. And to be fair, I miscalculated the elevation of a certain someone, which we'll get to.
And the DDM X
Which is
Factor. You gotta
the
DDM
DDM
always
X
wins. You
factor
gotta put that
is a
in.
major X
Literally,
factor.
literally every round robin tournament does not catch the wave because has been in DDM since the pandemic. It's insane. Has had a member in
Yep.
DDM.
Yep, Natsupoi and Tekla, the only two losers to never make it to a final of a tournament. All right.
Oh,
Anyways,
oh, okay, all right. So
it's just true. To be fair,
not too
like
much on the poemo there. All right, let's not do this.
I'm kind of shocked Boy hasn't made it to a final of some sort, but
I could have swore
you
she
know,
got to Cindy final, but she just didn't.
she didn't. She didn't. I could tell you she didn't. A few
Just
times we
Mirai
thought she
twice.
would, but she didn't. Yeah, Marai did it twice instead. Marai, we can share it with Boy. Give him Boy some credit. Anyways, let me get to the tournament itself. The show kicked off with Natsumi Showzuki versus Chika Goto. Watching this match, I thought Chika Goto might have pissed Natsumi Showzuki off right before they walked out there. This was like almost it was very quick, very out of the way. Like obviously there was no stakes to it. But Shizuki went out there with like a mission to beat the hell out of Chika Goto, and she accomplished that mission. I thought it was a good opener, no complaints whatsoever. And overall, I think Chika Goto walked out of this tournament better than she walked into it. And that's kind of my big takeaway for a lot of the wrestlers in this tournament, at least the ones that I was looking at to grow along the way. And that'll kind of be my takeaway for the matches that don't have any stakes to them. And Shizuki's obviously class. So good to see her there. Her and Victoria Yuzuki will get a chance to redeem themselves at the next Cork and Hall show with the Superfly title on the line. Dylan, how'd you feel about this match?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought that last week I think Sonny said on commentary that Natsumi Shizuki's the woman with the biggest chip on her shoulder in professional wrestling. And I think the one time she really gets to take that out is against Twin Tower. Because she just beats the fuck out of them. It's great. Uh, this was no exception. She was just disrespecting her like crazy. And she dog walked her for like a lot of the match. Um, and that made Chika Goto's like comebacks and hope spots a lot more fun because like you really are thinking like, damn, you gonna take this? This is tough. You should probably do something about it. So yeah, I really liked it. I think they click. I think that Shizuki just has like a natural chemistry with the tall girls from Actress. So I was happy with it.
Uh, could make a Jamaica joke, but I'm not gonna. Alex,
Dream match.
how did you like
Dream match.
Goto's overall tournament?
Chika really comes away looking very good. I think she largely kept things simple, but within that, she did everything she needed to very well. She shows a lot of fire, shows a lot of intensity, just does her good forearms, hits the hip attack so well that I went, Wakasukama is really bad at this. And just, she's not breaking the bank, but she does what she does really well, and it's really enjoyable.
I will shout out Xavier. Xavier made a very specific joke watching this match that Chika Goto was the best person to do a hip attack in Japan on this very day. The joke was because Waka and Tony Storm were wrestling on a Stardom show at the same time. So that was the joke. If anyone,
and I was looking to see if Taguchi was wrestling on a New Japan Tour show. I guess he was.
Taguchi, I thought that dude is still around, isn't he? Like 80?
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's not man.
All right, we're moving on. Moving on. Good start. But let's talk about matches with stakes here.
Hell yeah.
Obviously, heading into this match, Nori had a shot to get to the Dream League. Or she had a chance to win the Dream League, get to the Dream Star final. Which, I didn't think was going to happen because Victoria Yuzuki is the chosen one to beat the most protected people in the company. This is what we have established along the way, right? She's one of the only people to have pinned Julia. And now she pinned Nori. And honestly, I think the beauty of what they're going with Yuzuki is it's slow and steady, but at the same time, also very fast. They are giving her big notable wins while not pushing her too hard out the gates. She's still learning her way, and I think that's the beauty of this tournament for her. You saw her try a lot of new things. Some things work, some things don't. But this match was just good. This was just a good match. Nori, you watched in this tournament as well grow from start to finish to the point where she's throwing her kick so hard in this match against Yuzuki. And, maybe part of it's just because Yuzuki talks shit and maybe pissed her off, which is great. That's like the beauty of Victoria Yuzuki, right? But I thought these two had a much better match than I expected just because of the experience levels here. And I think that's a beautiful thing, especially with the way it ended and them fighting post-match. I would love to see this continue on. I think that's my most important thing coming out of the Dream Star. If Nori just disappears from our ability to watch her wrestle because PWX does not do things, I will be very upset. So I'm hoping that this is just the beginning of Nori in the Marigold world, because you just never know. Hopefully Kandori lets her come over more and more, as long as it's not poaching, right? As long as she doesn't sign a deal, I think we're okay. Alex, how did you enjoy this match?
Yeah, I love Nori, and at one point she hit Yuzuki with a kick square to the face so
Yeah.
hard that the announcer screamed, and I think that was really beast. She was just not, she wasn't taking a second off. She was torturing this poor girl. But Yuzuki throughout this tournament, and I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but she
I
has
already did.
established herself as a little dickhead. And everybody just wants to beat the shit out of her, and
Yeah.
she wants to beat the shit out of them. This really felt like the first stage of what could be a fun rivalry. I think the aftermath as well was this is the spirit of Julia. You know, Yuzuki has inherited that messiness that Julia always brought, and she was like, "I messed you up. I'm the hometown girl. I won. Go home." And Nori tried to kill her for it, and I just thought this was super fun. Love Nori, but yeah, Yuzuki, her growth throughout the tournament and that kind of establishing herself as a real menace to everybody is really fun.
She also picked up the speed on the rolling arrow. Now it's like going quicker and quicker. She got it onto Nori very quickly here, so it was a great finish to the match. Dylan, how did you enjoy the match?
I liked it a lot. To the point where like I started it, it was very good. I had to leave my computer and I put it on my phone so I could like not miss a minute of it because I really wanted to watch it. Because they just like immediately clicked, honestly. And yeah, I've been on the get Nori back for whatever tag tournament they have and put her with Takako. Just I don't care if they have to win, let them win. Um, might as well. But I loved everything she's done. I think she's killed it in every match she's had, basically. Frankly, I think Red Stars or Dream League, my bad.
Boo.
I think Dream League was just like an absurdly consistent block overall. Like I don't know if there was post Yuzuki and Showzuki, which just didn't really click. I don't know if there was like a match that I didn't consider to be a good match actively. Um, and this was no different. Nori's really aided in that. And I think Yuzuki's kind of, like Alex said, are kind of like I'm the golden girl around here. I'm a kick some ass, even though she's 10 months in. I think that like really works for
Yeah.
her styling. And in my head, after the match, she didn't say "Go home, Nori." She said "Jackie Sato better," and then Nori jumped her. That's what I figured she said, but maybe it was the other thing.
That is such a deep rooted joke. I have
Yeah,
to appreciate it.
It is, but Dylan had it so quick when watching the show. I was like, damn, you were
yeah.
just ready for that. You're hoping that's exactly what was said there. And I think overall, like Nori made a lot of fans through this tournament. So if she's not around, I'm going to be very upset. And also, the last thing with Yuzuki, no matter if she wins or loses, she talks shit, and that's a real wrestler.
It's
That's
so
all I got to
funny.
say. Yeah, she grabs
Like,
that mic and is like, "You suck. I might have lost, but you suck. And what are you going to do about it?" And it's usually to the Kouki and Chika Goto, but I like that she did it to Nori here, especially
it
after
was so
winning.
funny when Nozaki of all people was like, you know what, you did good, shake my hand. She's like, get the fuck out of here. Nozaki's like, I'm never nice to anyone, and this is what I get the one time.
Yeah, she paid for that one though. To be fair, so it was real though. It was real. Next up, we had Marai versus Nagisa Nozaki, a match that I thought started off really, really good until it kicked in that they were going to a countout draw, and I got upset. I got really upset because I thought that Mirai and Nozaki had some really, really good work against one another in the ring, to the point where I was like, "Oh, this could be like one of the better matches of the night." And then once they, had to go outside to work towards the count out, I was devastated. I won't lie. I was like, "Oh, come on, we were so close. We were so close to no countouts." But it's fine. In the end, neither of these two were in the race, and you wanted to protect both of them. So it is what it is. Like I don't care enough for them to go to that finish for what they did in terms of the wrestling. I thought it was good. But kind of a way to go out with a whimper for Marai, who, by the way, cried in the closing ceremony because she always cries because she is the most emotional person in wrestling.
We love her
How
for
did you enjoy this one, Dylan? I know you were into it until we had to get out of the ring as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think them doing that wasn't as offensive as it could have been. I thought it was annoying and it made the match worse. But like Nozaki's kind of like whole gimmick is that it's like I really just don't give a fuck. I just want to beat you up. And if she wasn't gonna win, her just kind of like keeping Mariah out of the ring just as a dick. I thought that was like it made sense, even if I didn't like the decision. Um, but yeah, I thought the match itself prior to like the finish stuff was super good. And I felt like even like the Chiaki spot was really well timed because it looked like Marai actually was gonna win. Like that was like it felt like the entire match had gone and Marai won and then Chiaki pulled like it was a legitimate shock. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh man, yeah, that's that like it was really, well worked in that way. And then after that I felt like they were like, okay, shift gears. We're no neither of us are trying to win anymore. We're trying to get to the finish, and I never like when that happens in a match. It kind of frustrates me. But like
Yeah.
I said, from a kayfabe standpoint, it doesn't not make sense. Like Nozaki just kind of being a spoiler because she feels like it is a accurate depiction of her current character. But I was definitely upset because this was going to be one of the better matches of the night, in my opinion. Because if it just like had an extra few minutes of like actual wrestling instead of just
Mhm.
the count out stuff.
Alex.
Um, yeah, I mean, you could tell after the interference that they were never going to get back on track.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I just think it's a bit silly. I remember Rossi did the tweet where he was like, wrestling has to have rules. I have rules here. And ever since, people have spent like 5 minutes brawling outside to no count. They were outside for forever. It's just
Yeah.
not. If you're
That
going to
was
do a
that
double count
too.
out, just
They
do it.
didn't even count. They did like legitimately. They were outside for 2.5 minutes, and eventually they're like, "I guess I'm gonna count."
Yeah, like just count straight away, and then you don't have to fumble around outside for 5 minutes.
Mhm.
So yeah, it really dragged it down, and I was just kind of like, you can just have somebody win, surely. I don't know, maybe it would have ruined the blocks, but Chiaki and Nozaki cheated enough that they could have simply won, and then Marai
Mhm.
could get her vengeance in two or
Yeah.
three shows down the line. Maybe Chiaki and Nozaki challenge
Tag
for the
title
tag
match.
belts or
Yeah.
something. Like it's really simple stuff, and I don't know why Rossi is just like, nope, draw. It's really basic.
They
I
ended
will.
up tying for second to
Yeah.
get points because of it. So I'm
Hmm.
I will
guessing
say
that's why.
I think this is one thing that Joshi does way worse than men's wrestling. Because like this is that double count out is a historical thing that always has happened where they're struggling trying to get into the ring and then they just double count out. Whereas like in other companies, I mean sometimes it's just as bad, sometimes it's worse, but like just fight into the street and get counted out.
Yeah.
Like just don't even try to come back. Just fucking beat
Right.
the hell out of each other. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
just like forget like who cares?
And,
Don't come back to the ring and be like, I'm so close
and I
now.
think
It's
in
like
this situation where both are eliminated, the dramatic trying to get back in the ring doesn't work because there's like no point. What is the win going to necessarily do for you at that point? For me, I think working outside and just having gotten counted out from far away would have worked better. Like,
I think
just
it would have like fired up a rivalry here that you could
yeah,
tap
exactly.
into later.
Yeah.
But they just
Which,
kind of, you know.
I would like to see these two face off again because I
Mhm.
did think the work was good, but it is what it is. We have so many count out tournament matches this year. I've had enough. Had enough. The Tommy Hayashishita defeats Kouki and Marai to win the Dream League. Kouki headed into this match with a chance to win. So the elevation of Kouki here, obviously on display from Rossi. And not a big shock. I think we all know that Kouki was, destined for great things in this company once she made the change over. But I thought overall, like this was the perfect culmination for Kouki's tournament. Just the overall growth from match 1 to match 7 was incredible because I am someone who doubted Kouki a lot after the first couple of months in Marigold. I was like, I don't, it's not all clicking. I think Chika Goto has made more strides. I think really all the other actress girls were doing a really good job at standing out. So this tournament was like very important for Kouki to do the same, right? She had the very solid match with Miku Aono, for the belt right before, which I was like, okay, that's a good building block. But what is she going to do against the Mirais and the Utamis and so on and so forth? And I mean, ultimately, I think she became one of the biggest winners of this tournament, even without winning. Not only does she get to a chance within, a point, well, within a win of getting to the final, but she also just showed so much growth in her matches. I think her match with Marai might be the best match I've seen her have. And ultimately, I think Utami was the perfect base for her in this match. Utami did so much crazy bumping just on this show between this match and the final that I was like, she is going out there to make both Kouki and my Sakurai look better. And I said this in my last review. I think that's been the difference for Utami. Like, a lot of people have been waiting for Utami to make that, get back to that championship level performances that she has. And I think she's taking it upon herself to make everyone look better, more important than anything else in her matches. And it has, like, almost every tournament match, I feel like anytime I saw someone talk about it, it's like, oh yeah, this person did really good, and Tommy won or whatever. And I think like she did that with Marai, she did that with who'd she wrestle last match before Kouki? Nori. I think she did a great job with Nori as
Great
well
match.
in that Cork and final, and I think she did a very good job here with Kouki as Kouki closes her tournament. Just coming up short, having hit many of her big moves and losing via the German suplex, which I'm really happy that Utami uses as a finisher because I just think it looks so great. So I really enjoyed this match. Up until this point, it was my favorite match of the show. That obviously changes, but really good between these two. Alex, how did you like Kouki's tournament? I know you've always been a believer in her.
Yeah, Kouki, I thought people were really hard on her for a while. There was people who've watched her an actress who had kind of written her off as this like, lazy, not trying, not worth the effort kind of wrestler. And then there was some Marigold fans who were like, well, she's not really that good. But she has put in the work. I think the steps have been there on the house show loop to that this is a wrestler who is coming into her own. And I think throughout the tournament, she has discovered what works for her and what doesn't. And I think she comes away from it a much better wrestler than she went in, and a much more complete wrestler. Although I thought this was one of her weaker showings, I thought her inconsistency showed through a little bit. So I think this is probably the worst match to praise her on, but I do think she, throughout the tournament, did show a lot of improvement.
And Dylan.
I disagree with Alex. I thought this match was very, very good. But I agree with him on the aspect that I think Kouki has really kind of put the naysayers to, she silenced them a lot, including me, who I was like, I like her, but this is going to be a sink or swim tournament for her, and if she sinks, it's going to be very unfortunate. And she swam faster than like most of the people in the tournament. She very much proved that she has the strengths to have 7 singles matches in a row and make them unique and make them fun and just like kind of present something interesting in a tournament and stand out. I think that was kind of the hardest thing in this tournament for some wrestlers was to just stand out from the crowd. I think Kouki did. So I thought this match was very, very good. I agree with you, Scott. It was my favorite match up to this point on the night. But yeah, I thought it was a super fun time, and I think that Kouki just in general impressed me a lot with her performances. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I think and Tommy winning the block, I felt like was a lock once Marai was out for me. And then we have Kizuna Tanaka versus Chiaki. I think this tournament, and I talked about this on Ring Post Radio with Ryan because Ryan asked me about Chiaki and like, out of all the wrestlers that have shown a lot of growth, it feels like Chiaki in this tournament didn't really have the chance to because all of her matches were so short and they all played to her heel trope of getting to that chair spot, right? But I do think Chiaki just like has a good understanding of who she's meant to be in this promotion. And I think that was kind of my takeaway in this match. I don't think this match was anything special, but she is the heel for someone like a Kizuna Tanaka to overcome. And most importantly, I thought Chiaki sold the Redream better than everyone so far. When Kizuna hit that, like it looked great. So those are like the little takeaways I take. But Chiaki's tournament wasn't a blowaway or anything. It was kind of the heel tournament of the entire both Star League and Dream League, which is fine. And it was nice to see Kizuna get her first win here. Dylan, I know that you are obviously a big fan of Chiaki and a believer in Chiaki. So how did you feel, now that her tournament's over and where she was at the beginning compared to now?
I feel like for a while, for a lot of her matches, I don't have the exact, I actually do have the exact number. For the first few 3 matches, pretty much 2 matches, I was like, you know what, she's doing what she needs to do. I like this. It's a bit tropey. It's a bit, but I mean, she's making the most out of this 5-minute match, this 6-minute match. This 5-minute match again. But after a while, I definitely was like, she's kind of being treated like a night off for people.
Sure.
I think I noticed that with Nanae, who doesn't take nights off, and I was like, oh, we could just do like the trope, and then I win, and then it's like, yeah, sure. And I'm not a fan of that. Like I am kind of frustrated with that about Chiaki's tournament. I think that like after a certain point, it's like, oh, so there's not going, she's not going to like have a different match. Um, Whereas like I think Nozaki was allowed to have different types of matches, even though she kind of stuck to her own, style. She didn't use a lot of interference outside of in the last match. I do think that like even if she had every once in a while, that would have been fine because she could still
Yeah.
just be Nozaki. I feel like Chiaki is kind of struggling to be anything but the heel stuff, which is why,
Yeah.
and I talked to you and Xavier about it. I would love to see Chiaki just like train with like Chigusa for 2 months. You know what I mean? Or just like get some outside training just from a different Mako, like go to Sendai for a month, like just to get another view on wrestling. Not because I think
Sure.
she's a lost cause, just because I think like all she needs is to like become a very strong in-ring worker, and then I
Yeah.
think everything just clicks
I mean, let's be real.
seamlessly
We
immediately.
know who you want Chiaki to go train with. You just gotta
Yes,
get,
but I don't know if he's
get him.
available.
Just gotta get him out of the office job for a
Yeah,
month or
yeah. I
two.
mean, if we can get him some pay time off to come to the dojo, hang out for a minute. Maybe somebody could pull some strings. I know Jungle was at this show. Maybe she can text him. Maybe that maybe we can get something going.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I mean, obviously Yoshino is who Chiaki should probably be modeling herself after. But
Yeah.
legit, I think just like if she just got a different view of wrestling from like another trainer, not saying the trainers at Marigold aren't good enough or Fuka wasn't good enough. I just think that like what she's going for is a very unique thing that I don't think anybody in Marigold has on lock. I know we talk about Nanae being the Rudo, but she wasn't ever a Zap. You know what I mean? Like she was never like a she was just an asshole. Like
Yeah.
they're different kinds of heels. So I think, having Chiaki just go somewhere and learn.
They do have a partnership with LPWX, and
Yeah,
Takako Inoue did spend a
learn from
long
Takako.
time as a heel, like very much a strong heel faction member for a few years
No,
there.
that's
So
a perfect
even that,
example. Yeah. Like let her train with Takako and Shinobu Kandori for a month. And I think it'll just like kind of like, oh, here's another way of kind of doing this wrestling stuff. And again, this isn't me saying she's like a lost cause. We need to do something. It's just that I think she can really reach another level if she got
Yeah.
a little bit of a tweak
Yeah,
mindset
she's
wise.
also like for me, kind of like with Miyu Amasaki. I said last year with O'Toolan. I think she's going to benefit also from just being in more tag matches. I
Hmm.
think that's where she kind of shines, working with Nozaki rather than doing the heel shtick where Nozaki's on the outside. I just think like that dynamic will help her. But I do agree with you. Like letting her go and learn from someone from the outside, I think will just give her more creativity as well because
Yeah,
everyone's training under the same
handful of people.
same Fuka, Nanae, and so on. So I think that would benefit her. I agree. But Alex, how did you like Chiaki's tournament? I mean, we could talk about Kizuna too, but like I think we're all cool with Kizuna. I think we know what Kizuna's going to be. So
yeah, I was very down on Kizuna. She was kind of just there. But
yeah.
yeah, Chiaki had the hard role of playing the playful heel across 8
Mhm.
matches when you're not pushed. It is
Yeah.
really hard to do, and I think it does end up repeating on itself. But that's not really
Yeah.
on her. Like her shtick is meant to be house show fodder and tags, and then the occasional singles match, not really a tournament thing. So I can give her a pass there.
Yeah, it's worth noting for me, these two had the weakest tournaments in terms of just match quality. I don't think it was like very, I think everyone else was like pretty far away from them actually, which isn't really a shot. I think, you know, they both kind of fall in this tough spot where Kizuna is like this underdog who's just kind of there to lose, and
I also think neither of them
Chiaki
had like
was
a
the heel
standout
there to lose.
match, because like I think Bozilla had a relatively weak tournament, but she had like 2 great matches along with her pretty middling tournament. Same with Matsui. She had the great Nanae match, which was one of the better of the tournament, even though she had a bit of a weaker tournament overall.
Both their best matches for me are most notable. I know, haha, you can make the joke, but I do think their most notable matches were against Sareee, both of them. So those are the 2 I remember for both of them. But it is what it is. Moving on, Mai Sakurai defeats Misa Matsui to officially eliminate Bozilla and pretty much deny Takahashi, unless they were going to go to a Tomoe battle or something, which was not happening. But obviously a big shock, I think, for everyone. I think Misa Matsui felt like the perfect person to upset Mai Sakurai on the final night and set up either Nanae or Bozilla to advance. So when she won here, I was in like genuine shock. I was like, I didn't think this far ahead. I didn't think like, oh, the elevation of Mai Sakurai has been a thing that they have had a goal of doing since day one. And putting her, and this is a very Rossi booking, right? You put someone in the tournament final that is going to get elevated, right? He's done it with countless people through the years, right? He did it with Micah and Hameka, the DDM folks. But you know, but you can go back even further in history, just not recent history.
Utami.
And Utami, exactly.
The first 5-star, yeah.
I can't say Momo against Shuri because that's egregious. Because she only went down from there. In terms of like her importance.
That was the peak of her career, yeah.
Like, so it's weird, but like I think I underestimated that aspect of what Rossi likes to do with his booking to elevate someone. And ultimately in this tournament, no one was elevated more than Mai Sakurai. She has that match with Julia at Cork and Hall, and I mean a switch flipped. Like she was already doing well in Marigold, great tag wrestler, especially, but her singles work and just overall work flip switched, and she has had such a incredible run, really. Because I was saying this during her match with Utami. I was like, there was a time where her and Waka Tsukiyama were in the same conversation. There was a legitimate time when they were both in Stardom, both in Cosmic Angels, and then she switched over to DDM. Like that was a conversation of a rivalry. And now Mai Sakurai is here in the tournament final and doing great. Crazy how things happen. So this is when I just give Alex a chance to do the victory lap. We'll do it again later, but go ahead, Alex. Go ahead. You've been right about Mai Sakurai all along, I know.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's audio evidence. She debuted in Stardom, and everybody said this woman is awful. And I said there is a wrestler in here, guys. There is a wrestler in here. And then she and multi tags would constantly have these really good exchanges with Marai, and people went, "Yeah, well, it's with Marai." And 2 people have to wrestle the match. You know, you can't just wrestle on your own.
Yeah.
So I was always like, there is a wrestler here. She's not really pushed in Stardom, so she's never gonna unleash that. But now in Marigold, with a fresh coat of paint, with a lot of spotlight on her, I think with Julia kind of saying, you need to be one of these people who carries the company, I think she's fully unleashed everything she's capable of. And I think beyond just being a good wrestler, I think she's a really good charisma. I think she's really good at projecting. I think she plays her role really well, especially in a match like this. She set the bar for Matsui to meet, and Matsui leaped over the bar. But you have to set that bar. Like everybody who wrestles Misa Matsui has to set the bar at a certain level, and she will meet you there. And Mai Sakurai set the bar high, and they delivered a really, really good match here. So, like she's just proving everybody wrong. And I think this has always been inside her. She just never was fully able to unleash it, but the signs were there.
Yeah, I think pointing to the gimmick change as well to, last year when she just kind of fully, what did you say?
She's the Kifujin.
Yeah, like it just brought out a confidence in her and allowed her to be a character. And I think her taking the time, right? Because she wasn't like Alex said, she wasn't pushed to a certain point, so she could just spend her time working on that. And now that she is in this big spot, she is absolutely delivering. And I think that's awesome for her to really just shine for this company because this is someone that they need to reach this level. And it's awesome. It's just really awesome. So Dylan, how do you like this match and just Mai Sakurai evolving to a tournament finalist?
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit more when we get to the actual tournament final match itself. But I think another aspect of Rossi booking that we kind of underestimate is the replacement style that he runs with. I mean, Tam Nakano's entire strong career happened as a replacement for Arisa Hoshiki, frankly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that we forget that, and that sounds
What
like
a
a shot, but
character,
it's
man.
just the truth. Like, Rossi is a big replacement minded wrestler. Or
He's not a
booker,
wrestler.
rather. I
There
know.
you go.
And I think when he sees Julia leave and he sees Mai Sakurai be like, I'm ready, I'm ready to step the hell up and take Julia's spot, he's like, I could have done Julia Utami. Now I could do Mai Sakurai in Utami. If Mai Sakurai's up to the
Just say that out loud. It sounds so crazy.
But it's probably how he was thinking about it. Is that it's like,
I
well, Mai
know.
Sakurai needs to is
And I
stepping
said
up
to
and
you
set
during
Julia's
the
spot.
final, like this might be like the performance Mai gave. I was like, that's probably the best we could have saw Julia in her most recent form.
And
That we saw her.
I think the beauty of Mai Sakurai is that she still has the underdog mystique to her because you still doubt her. She's
Yeah.
still the the person that you don't expect.
You're not gonna
To
like
be
this
such a strong
comparison,
wrestler.
but I don't know if you remember in 2021 when Saya Kamatani was getting all the big opportunities. Everyone was like, I don't know about this, and then she kept delivering. That's what Mai Sakurai.
No, I could see that. I agree. No, I totally agree. I think from a single standpoint, Mai Sakurai is I'm not going to say that.
Can't say it. Can't
I'm
say
not
it.
gonna say that. I didn't adore Saya Kamatani's 2021 stuff personally as a singles wrestler, but that's besides the point.
But you
I think
adore
Mai
Mai
Sakurai
Sakurai. That's what you're saying.
not her 2021. Was she wrestling? She was.
I'm talking about 2024, man.
Yes, Mai Sakurai in 2024
Alex,
is
how do you do this every
better than
week?
a lot of wrestlers.
Listen, I tune him out for half of it. I can't lie to you.
He just leaves. I just talked to myself for most of the episode. I revealed this earlier this week. But no, I think Mai Sakurai just really showed up and was like, you know what? Sonny called me Naito once upon a time. I'm supposed to be Julia's replacement. Might as well live up to those names. And she has. And I thought this match was fine. I didn't think it was anything
Fumi
great.
that called her Naito?
Yes. Yeah.
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 But I think he got told by someone.
I don't know.
He was cooking either way.
I don't think he called.
He was up to something. He was right, he knew Mai Sakurai was going to be something.
He also called someone Dominic Mysterio. I don't remember who. We're going to move on. But I think that this match was it could have been better. I think that there was signs of it being a really good match, but I thought it just ended up being solid. And once Mai Sakurai got that STF, and I was like, oh, Misa doesn't survive
That
these.
STF, by the way,
Beautiful.
John Cena would be honored to have an STF.
Hell yeah.
That good.
She should teach him for his last year.
Yeah, they're gonna call Mai Sakurai. Hey, can you teach Cena and so he can retire correctly? Thank you. That's real. And then we had Mikano versus Nanae Takahashi, and they beat the hell
passion.
This match, so I'm not gonna lie, when the match was starting, I was still realizing that Mai Sakurai was probably going to the final, and that I was like, okay, I gotta reassess, I gotta reset, I gotta get used to what's happening. And then these two just started hitting each other as hard as humanly possible. I was like, okay, I'm locked in. I apologize for not being locked in to start this match. I'll just say it now. I was gonna say it till the end. Nanae Takahashi is the main event of the 2024 main event, the MVP of the Dreamstar Grand Prix this year.
I
For me.
100% agree.
Unbelievable run, start to finish. Just top tier match after top tier match, and she closes it here with Miku Aono in a far more personal and a far more like this just went to a level that I did not imagine them going to. And it made for such an exciting and great match. Like I was like, I don't really care who wins this. You're both out probably. I know Dylan was on the edge of her seat and then hoping Nanae still had a shot. She didn't because
Hey,
making
if she,
Nanae wrestle like 3 matches on one
yeah,
night was insane.
that's all we needed was for Nanae to go 3 matches in one night.
Yeah, she went 15 minutes here with Miku Aono. One of Miku Aono's best showings too. I think when you compare this to like Miku Aono's match against Sareee, she got a lot more offense here. And I think that's what made this so great is because, Nanae is beating the hell out of her. And Miku Aono is coming back with the hardest of kicks. And at the end of this match, when she's just throwing those slaps at the end, I was like, I just wanted to give them a standing ovation for how great they went out. Because again, like this match ultimately didn't fully matter in terms of who was making it out of the Star League, but they brought their best because they knew the night was a major night. And it's why these two have been two of the MVPs of Marigold here in the first year. Dylan, I know you live for passion, and I know that you were heartbroken that Nanae was not moving on to the final, but I know this match made you feel a little bit better.
Oh yeah, I think the singular downside of this match was that they were both eliminated by the time it happened. I know my Sakurai and Misa going above this made no sense, so I understand why they didn't do that. But I think that was the sole thing that was like, damn, like 10 minutes ago, this was like a very hot, engaging, like like edge of your seat match, and I think they had to work their way to that, and they did, obviously, because they're Nanae and Miku. But I think that like that was the singular downside was just that they were both eliminated going into the match itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because once it started, like you, I was kind of like, oh wow. So I was doing the math of like my Sakurai, how can, and then they just started hitting each other. I was like, my bad, I'm here. Like I'm not, I won't shit post on Twitter. I'm locking in. I'm here. And I really liked everything about this match. I love that Nanae was like, you know what, I'll kick you in the head too. You want to try to kick me in the head? I'll kick you in the head too. And it really all led up to pushing Miku to really just like fight, fight
Mm-hmm.
for her life, which has been kind of like the best parts of Miku's tournament has been her kind of fighting for her life against Bozilla, against Nanae, and against Sareee. And I thought this was the best of those personally.
Mm-hmm.
And the My Sakurai one, which was a different story, but I digress. But yeah, I love this match. It was one of my favorite. It was my favorite of the night. Oh wait, no, the main event happened. It's my second favorite of the night. And yeah, I really liked it. It was a great time. And yeah, Nanae is just Nanae, man. Yeah,
Passion, maybe.
she had the Jungle Kiona
Passion.
buff in Nagoya. Because Jungle Kiona was like, yeah, I'm in Passion Sisters, by the way. I don't work, but I'm in Passion Sisters.
Yeah, which is great. As I keep saying, if Jungle's there, I'm just sending her
She
out
should
there.
just
Put her on
intro the
commentary or
show.
something,
Intro the show like Julia did the entire time
Yeah,
she was hurt.
yeah, just like get the cheap pop, like
Yeah.
it's right there. Alex, I know how much you love these two. I know Pat, you started just by saying passion. So, how did you enjoy this one?
Oh, this is great. They did a 5-minute call, and I went, it's been 5 minutes, and the Nai is throwing open hand slaps to the face. Like, what the hell? And
Yeah.
they just kept going. Like, Nanai is fully on some shit during this tournament. She is just bringing out the stiff nature that you really don't see a lot from Joshi wrestlers anymore. And
Mm,
of everybody, or Miko Aono is one of those people who is going to fire back.
yeah.
And I thought this was basically the essence of what the white belt usually is under Rossi Ogawa. Like when you think of your white belt champion and the kind of matches she should be having, it's very much in this vein. It is very much,
Mhm.
this is what we do. This is the heart and soul of Joshi wrestling. We're going to put our entire souls into this kind of fight. And yeah, it was awesome. They could have gone 5-10 more minutes and I wouldn't have been upset. Like they were killing each other. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was insane how physical this got, and I was like, well, they gotta have to run it back now. That's like kind of the rule. That was my biggest thing. I was like, they don't run this back, I'm gonna be very upset. I just feel like the chemistry here is off the charts. And Nanae, like, if this is her last tournament, unbelievable run. Though the way she went in this tournament, I was like, I don't know. I think you can do it again next year, no problem. I think you got one more in you at least. But I think we should just do a match between the tournament MVPs from both Stardom and Marigold. So,
I agree.
Just a pitch.
We've spoken about a lot, me and Alex especially, that like not Mirai, Nanae is really like the singular struggle is that like she isn't Mayu in 2024 and Sareee because they're just like running up the board. Because I'm thinking about it, it's like this is pretty easily the second best tournament performance of the year outside of Mayu, obviously, because it's Mayu. But if Mayu wasn't just going insane with the greatest block in wrestling history, Nanae would be legitimately in the conversation for the best tournament run of any wrestler this year.
Yeah. I guess they should still fight it out to see who's
agree.
best. I just think it would be better for all of us. And then we had the final Star League match as Bozilla gave Sareee her first Marigold loss with a power bomb in the middle of the ring. Yes, I was very upset. Thank you for asking. Obviously, I knew it was going to happen. We were not giving away Utami versus Sareee with no build. But this kind of was the big match the whole Star League was building to, right? In a way, we thought this might have been the qualifier for either one. Whoever wins gets in. That was not the case. They managed to keep Bozilla out of the final, but also made her look strong in doing so. And pinning Sareee in the middle of the ring sets her up for a Marigold World Championship match, because I'll just tell you all right now, Sareee is not just going to go down without getting her win back. It's not happening. I do not see it happening. So first thing she says, like, I'm ready to fight Bozilla again. I will not back down. We will do this. I don't care. Title on the line. And they already previewed that kind of after the match with, it was the most Sareee has ever cared about that actual belt since she's gotten it. So I was like, yeah, that's real to me. I thought the match was good. Doesn't stand out like I wanted to, but at the same time, I'm watching. I'm like, I think they're just saving for a championship match, so I don't really have any problems. I thought ultimately Bozilla's tournament's a very interesting one because a lot of it was just her squashing her opponent. So it's like it's hard for me to have big takeaways. I think her and Nanae obviously worked the best together, but I think out of all her other singles matches, I did like some of the chemistry her and Sareee had. So I do look forward to the potential rematch down the line. Alex, you are the Bozilla super fan. How did you like her
lap of mine?
I know. How did you like her tournament overall as she closed out here against Sareee?
I think she was in the rough spot as like the monster of the tournament. And it's hard to do that when you're against like a Kizuna or a Chiaki, but I think she did her job quite well in those matches. And when she did have a big match, I think she was able to pick it up. I mean, I think the Nanae match was really good.
Yeah,
I think her and my Sakurai was disappointing, but they were in Shinkiba first ring. What
I thought that was fun.
Yeah,
it was
for what they were going for.
They have a much better match in them, but
Absolutely.
you can't do that in Shinkiba first ring. But for the Nanae match and this match, I think she really stepped up fully. So I think she was in a rough spot as
she also
the
had the fire. So
yeah, that too. But when it came to the big matches like this, she was able to do it. I mean, even in this match, she saved so much shit for this that it really made it stand out.
Sareee on the power slam. I did
And
have a
as
heart
she
attack.
should, as she should.
No,
but,
hold on. Like, hold on.
But
that was concerning.
The dive to the outside and the
Yeah.
moonsault and the awesome power bomb. I'm like, this is a smart, intelligent wrestler saving her biggest stuff for the final day. I think that's what I really appreciate about Bozilla is she can do a lot of stuff, but she's smart enough to save it for the biggest matches.
Yeah, I think they legitimately have an incredible Cork and Hall main event in them coming up. Like that was my big takeaway because of all all the moves that Bozilla was doing, just imagine that with a cork and crowd screaming for Bozilla.
Yeah.
It just works, like, and I think you're right. I think she does have a lot more in the tank that she just doesn't need to bring out because again, she's a monster. And that's the long old towards story when you have like a monster wrestler. Less is more for
Yeah.
her, right? So
Bull,
when
Bull
she does the
Nakano,
more, it
Monster
stands out.
Ripper,
Mhm. Yeah.
like Bull especially. Bull could do moonsaults and flipping leg drops, but she was like, I'm just gonna maul you to death and hit a leg drop, and like that's
Yeah, and it
perfect,
worked. Right, and it
Um,
worked. So it's like I think that's the beauty of Bozilla in the long term,
yeah.
right? Like that's what you want to see her do. I mean, she did the moonsault and it got a big pop out of me. I forgot that she had that in her bag because I remember she did it at the first show. Did she never do it since then?
I think she
She did it
tried it
once
but missed.
since then. Yeah,
Okay.
she's missed twice. This is the first time she hit it. 'Cause she missed
Well, it
it
was awesome,
on
to be
Utami the
fair.
first time as well.
Sareee saw that in the match where they tagged her, like, yeah, you got to do that to me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Uh, but Dylan, how did you like the match as Sareee falls her first time in Marigold?
I thought, I like at first I was like it's a bit of a questionable choice to have Bozilla be the first person to beat her. Um I was giving it to Nanae, but that's just me. Um but
I
no,
thought they
I
were
think
gonna give it to Nanae, so
yeah, as did I. But I think I really like the way Sari loses. Because she's such a genius when it comes to
mhm,
like taking a loss. You look at this match, she lost to the power bomb earlier in the match. One of my favorite spots in the match was Bozilla getting her up for the power bomb and
yeah,
Sareee getting frantic. She's
mhm,
just wiggling, she's pulling her hair, trying to rip her hair out, just punching her, headbutting her, just like doing everything she can to not get hit with the power bomb. And it's like it's similar to the Mayu match where it's like Sareee was in control except for when she'd get hit with a dragon suplex and would just be dead. Like she'd just be out. Like there that was just like every time there was a dragon suplex, she was out. She could not recover very easily. That was her kryptonite. I feel like Sareee, even though she's like not this like massive power wrestler who like needs to be overcome in that way,
yeah,
the way that she is able to like present herself as like having kryptonite, and in this match, it was that power bomb that she was deathly afraid of getting hit with, and then eventually she got hit with and lost to. I think she's just such a like smart wrestler when it comes to just doing those like small things to make the finish make sense and make it
yeah,
be like, well, I lost because that one move fucked me up. Like she's not a better wrestler than me. I like it kind of keeps a certain, you know, a certain little bit of like, yeah, I can beat
mhm,
her. I just need to figure out how to deal with that goddamn power bomb.
yeah.
Otherwise, I thought the match was very, very good. One of Bozilla's best of the tournament. Like I said, I think Bozilla had a pretty middling tournament, but her high end stuff was high end. And I really liked it, including this one.
She delivered in the matches I hoped she would.
Yeah.
So I think that's the most important thing, right?
Mhm.
It comes with her saving her biggest moves. You look at the Miku Aono title match, you look at the Nanae matches, and you look at this one. I think she did a good job for the most part in all of them, and that's good because she's gonna have a big title match coming up sooner than later, and it'll be interesting to see how that goes because obviously all roads lead to Sareee and Utami, which we'll talk about now here. Hayashishita defeating my Sakurai to win the first ever Dream Star Grand Prix. Obviously, if I had an image that had just the two of them, I would use it, but this one pops me, so it's okay.
You want to know a
Um,
very quick fun fact? 2 years ago and two weeks ago, Utami beat my Sakurai in 4 minutes in a 5-star match, and I think
damn,
that's really funny that
for that
we've
history.
gotten here. Yeah,
That's called growth from my
1%.
Sakurai, which is great to see. I thought this match was great. Like, I didn't know what to expect going into this, and I do think like this is also part of the live watching experience. If you don't watch this live or if you get spoiled on anything, you will not enjoy this match as much as I did watching it live because legitimately, like, while I did think Utami was winning, they had so many great near falls that I thought like my Sakurai is walking away, including the final STF where she had the legs locked. She had her arm right around the neck of Utami. And Utami pulled the Mayu moment out, which the Mayu moment is looking like you were out, looking like you were done, and then just at the last second having just enough to get to the rope. I think Mayu does that so well, and I thought Utami nailed it here. This match, like Mai Sakurai hit everything in her bag except for the Glorious Driver, and that was kind of the story of the match. Whoever hit the and one thing I will say with Utami, I had no idea what she was going to win with, admittedly, because she just wins with the German suplex. She wins with the hijack bomb. She wins with the torture rack bomb. So I was like, I'm just here for the ride. We'll see how we get there. But just awesome performance from Mai Sakurai, who again, this is the culmination of her going from a good hand when she said she was going to Marigold to a top main event star. And I think her growth, I give her all the credit in the world for stepping up into that spot. And, I think she does have a lot of similarities to Julia in that she's not like this super athletic wrestler, but she tries really hard. She's willing to go the extra mile in terms of physicality and things like that to get herself across better. And that's how I felt watching this match. And like I said earlier, Utami bumped her ass off for Mai Sakurai in this match. She was like landing on her neck so many different times. It's like, you don't have to do that. But Mai Sakurai was like so close so many times. I legitimately thought she was winning at some points before Utami hit the torture rack bomb to get the win and win the tournament. Like I said, awesome match. Alex, how did I know, Tommy's the boring winner, blah, blah, blah. How did you like the match though?
It was very good. Yeah, the near falls I think were really well done. I think Mai Sakurai and her going up to the ramp bit and just trading blows, and then my jumping off was good. And yeah, I thought they built really well. I think this was your prototypical Utami match when she's firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
She's able to build up to those good finishing stretches.
Mhm.
I think the unpredictability of not knowing what Mai was gonna do to win really helped, because every
Yeah.
move was like, oh, is this the one? Because it could have been a
Mhm.
glorious driver, but she might have stole the Northern Lights bomb for all we know. So it was like, is
True.
this going to be the one? Is this going to be the one? I think that
Yeah.
made it a lot more edge of your seat kind of stuff, to where
Yeah.
I was just, for the last few minutes, I was living and dying by each near fall and every
Yeah.
counter.
Yeah. I totally agree. And I think I've meant to say this earlier. Once I saw that Tommy got rid of the extensions, I knew she was winning the tournament.
I thought
was
the
like,
opposite. I was,
Oh,
she's
really?
losing. Damn, yeah.
Oh no, I thought because that's when she's at her strongest, when she
She
gets
wants
rid
her.
of
She
the
wants
fake
her
long
photo
hair.
op in her true form. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
fair, honestly. Yeah,
she got to give the rose to Venny. She's like, I'm going back to all natural. This is the greatest week.
that's
of my life.
fair, honestly.
Like this is the greatest week of my life. I had such a great time. I'm going back to all natural. Dylan, I know you obviously said earlier you very much enjoyed the match, but I'll let you talk about Mai Sakurai's performance and then Utami getting back to the mountaintop for the first time in what feels like forever in just her career. So,
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I loved it to death. Utami out with the mask.
Yes, the mask, the EO mask.
Just a little bit
the
of
EO
a,
match
I'm
mask
still
specifically.
the queen of this shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just thought that like Mai Sakurai did a tremendous job. Obviously, Utami did a tremendous job as well. I think, as you said earlier, Utami's tournament has kind of been like all about how well she's making her opponents look.
Yeah.
And she's had great opponents to do that against. I think Mai Sakurai is no different here. I thought, as Alex said, that it's like you kind of never know what the finish is going to be. I thought that cross leg STF. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
Nanae passed out to it. She only pulls it out. This is the second time in the tournament she's pulled it out, as far as I remember. Like she usually just wins with the STF. So
Yeah.
that cross leg one, I was like, that's not good. That is concerning. The first STF, I was like, the cross leg, I was like, oh no. Same with the tiger suplex. She just randomly decided I'm doing tiger suplexes now. A
Yeah,
little
that was
shout out to
awesome.
her, Kozen days pretty quickly, but she got
She
Utami
hit it
kicked out of
better.
that as she should. Um, and yeah, I just thought everything about this was Utami pulled out a sling blade. I thought
Yeah, that was crazy.
Utami doesn't leave her feet for things. Like she doesn't like jumping when she's
Yeah.
wrestling. So like her doing that, I was like, okay. And then I think Utami over with the tower rack, or the tower rack, tower hacker, the torture rack bomb. was super cool because it's the second time she put away a DDM member to win a round robin tournament with the torture rack bomb. I just want to talk about Linus Asuka, my bad.
That's
But
fair.
yeah, I think that was a really cool like kind of continuity thing. Is that it's like I won my first 5-star with the torture rack bomb. I'm winning my first Dream Star with the torture rack bomb. Super
You
cool.
know, we
Everything about this
we
was
always
awesome.
said, if there was anyone that was ever going to win 2 5-stars, Tommy felt like should be
It
the
was
person.
Utami or
Now,
Mayu. Those are the only two.
yeah, now that didn't happen, obviously because Tommy left. But this is close enough. This is close enough for
Yeah.
me.
But
Um,
as for Mai, she killed it. I loved everything about her in this tournament and this match. I really felt like this was a-
yeah,
as much of a like true coming out party for my Sakurai as possible over the past month and a half, 2 months.
yeah,
And this was the cherry on top because it was a very clear indicator of like, oh, she has this in her for real.
hmm
It's not just like a emotional thing with the Julia. It's not just
yeah.
the house show stuff, a good Corkin match. Like this is the top of the top type of match you can have in Marigold, and she killed it. So good for her.
One thing I did take away from seeing like this photo after, I was like, I don't know if you guys know this, but like in sports, like people put together like these power rankings lists,
Hmm.
and like you'll see like a little arrow that goes either up or down. It's like stock up, stock down. I looked at all these wrestlers and I was like, they would just all have stock up signs. Like I feel like
Yeah,
every
pretty
single
much.
person here, like, except for maybe Sareee, put their stock up in a way through this tournament and really just through this year. And it's been great to see. So overall, that is the tournament. Tommy Hayashishita is the Dream Star winner. She says she wants to face Sareee for the belt, obviously. So that, I'm guessing, brings us to first Dream at Ode Award to kick off the year. Obviously, they didn't say when or where that'll happen. Sareee, of course, probably going to defend the title once or twice before that. But that is the biggest match Marigold has now. So I'm obviously very excited. And the best part actually of this entire ceremony is when Nanae and Sareee had to get trophies for best match, and they gave each other a death stare. They're like, how
It was so
dare you?
funny.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if it's the case for all of them. The Nice Trophy has a typo on it. It says Match of the Year 2027. And I thought that was very funny.
What was that?
That is peak Rossi.
Bro,
Honestly,
like
that
I
is so on brand.
the thing about this ceremony, I know we're over time, but just very quickly, is how independent of a company this feels like. Like
Yeah.
with the flower crown, they're like, yeah, that's all we got.
I love the
We don't got
flower
a
crown.
coat. I love it.
Utami
Utami
dropped it
loved it
when she
too.
got on the rope, and she was like, "Oh no, I need that."
Like Utami looked way happier to get the flower crown than she ever did to get like the crown and robe back in the day. She was like, "I get a fucking flower crown." Like she looked so hyped. But I just found that so funny that it's like, yeah, we spent all the money on this big ass trophy. You just get some flowers, man.
Yeah, but Tommy just enjoys the vibes. But before we wrap up here, I will ask you both your favorite match of the tournament and your MVP. We'll start with you, Alex. I think you're gonna go with some passion, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, tournament MVP has to be Nanae Takahashi. It's a close call between her and my Sakurai, but I think my and Bozilla being a smaller venue just kind of takes her case down a little bit. So definitely Nanae. Match of the tournament is an interesting one because it might be Nanae and Aono, but it could also be my Sakurai versus Nanae. They're both on a very similar level to me.
Shouts out Nanae. That's pretty much
Hell
all I
yeah.
heard. Nanae, no matter what.
Yeah.
Dylan, your MVP I know is Nanae, but your
Yes.
match of the tournament, you can put over Nanae again if you want. I don't care.
My
I need to screenshot the Jordan Patu tweet about Nanae and just always post it when we're talking
Hell
about
yeah.
her. Uh,
Yeah.
it's
I
the
I have
greatest.
I have Utami
Maybe it'll be in bold. Sorry.
almost tied with Nanae as the number one, but she wasn't. Because I think
Whoa.
she's still because I think Nanae just had a higher. I think just the final put Utami so close to Nanae because the final was so good, and I think the final might be my favorite match of the tournament. Um, it's between that and Mirai and Nori. Actually, Nanae and Miku is a very close third for me.
Nori was
Uh,
my MVP of um the Dream League. So
Yeah. See, yeah.
well, before the final, to be fair.
Yeah, I think I still had Mirai over Nori as well. I did.
Nori's a beast. Nori should have got a trophy. Sorry.
I agree. That was actually the thing I was shocked about. I was like, I feel like if you're trying to not poach her, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, I would give her a trophy. Personally. But yeah, so I think the final was probably my favorite match of the tournament, but close behind that is Mirai and Nori, and then close behind that is Nanae Miku. I thought all three of those matches, I know you said one, but I just think all three of them were tremendous. And all six of them deserve their credit in this tournament, in my opinion.
My MVP, Nanae Takahashi, so all around there. My match of the tournament was Sareee versus Nanae Takahashi from the Cork in this past Monday. But I have about 7 other Nanae matches that I could name if you would like. I won't. I think the Miku Aono one's in conversation comfortably. I thought that was just incredible. It's gonna go under the radar, I think, of like just an incredible tournament match from this year in wrestling because it happened on the last night, and we're building to the final and all that, but it was incredible. And since everyone named multiple, my other one would be I really liked Miku and Sareee. I really liked Marai and Kouki. I thought they did a great job. I don't know. It was a really fun tournament overall. So I think,
like I said, high floor on this tournament, I would say.
Yeah, high floor for sure overall. My Sakurai, I thought, again, just had such a great run in the tournament. So shouts out to her as well. But my MVP, Nanae Takahashi. Winner, Utami Hayashishita. Before we get out of here, let's do those plugs. Dylan, I know you do them every time, but I will just ask you to do it again.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at XXUchiban because I'm number 21 on the mic and number 1 in your heart. Check out Stardom Quest every Wednesday, usually, maybe Thursdays sometimes, but usually Wednesdays, on the 5-Star Network. I will be writing soon. I'm making myself write soon, so check out writedylanwrite.substack.com. And yeah, get at me.
And Alex, your plugs.
Yeah, you can find me on Stardom Quest. I host that one, so I talk more, but then I also have to give Dylan his time to talk, so I don't talk too much. And I do make fun of him just enough to where it's not bullying, but it's kind of funny.
It's pretty close.
So if you want more of us and Stardom talk, then yeah, Stardom Quest is the place to go.
It's Stardom Quest Gold. We will be covering this
Gold.
show as well in
Yes,
a couple of days.
more
over
in
there.
depth. Don't follow me on Twitter. My Twitter is horrible. So thanks.
Can I say very, very quickly? Karo Ito had her merch at Saree's merch table.
I will kill you.
That's so funny.
I will kill you.
That is so funny.
I hate you.
That is kind of real.
It's
though.
a ton of Saree stuff, and then like one little poster of the Ito Dojo show, and I was like, I mean, shit.
Hey, sell the show, Sell the show, Follow me at Scott E Wrestling on Twitter if you don't already. I don't have anything going on now, so just subscribe if you haven't, so that you can never miss a Joshi Rewind once I get it together. And
we're gonna blow Scott's mind.
I have such a long list already. I showed Dylan last night of just like,
I was sending him ones to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing it in order. For anyone that cares, I'll just tell the story. So I'm going in order because I've decided the best way for me to get into something is watching things in order. That's how I did it with Stardom. And I was like, I'm just gonna do it here. I have a bunch of beauty pair, Jackie Sato matches, and we're just gonna go. Watching the Queen of Villains has destroyed the rest of my wrestling viewing for good. And honestly, I greatly appreciate it because I wasn't really loving it lately, outside of like this tournament and so on. So I appreciate it. If you want to see that, I don't really know how those shows are going to go. Probably just short, talk about a match here and there, but we'll see. But thank you to both of you for joining me. And until next time here on the channel, so long, everybody.